In September 2014, a Utah boy discovered his parents and three brothers deceased after arriving home. The Salt Lake Tribune reported finding a to-do list in the house, which included tasks like feed the pets and find someone to watch the house written on it. The found list gave the impression that the parents were preparing to go on vacation. However, there was no suicide note, no warning that they would do this, and no explanation. After autopsies, it was revealed that the five family members consumed a lethal concoction of drugs that September day. However, why and how the parents and kids consumed the drugs remained a mystery. Sometime later, police revealed more terrifying information about the case. According to family members' statements, the parents' motivations included believing that the world's end was near and frequently spoke of leaving this world, apparently scared of the apocalypse. The parents poisoned the kids and themselves. Grandmother's entire life had a recurring nightmare. In this nightmare, she would be walking down a long, dark hallway, turn to the left, open a door, and see something terrible. She'd always wake up before seeing what it was. In her 40s, she, her husband, my dad, and my aunt were on vacation. They booked the hotel at the last minute, so they ended up having to get two rooms with two twin beds on opposite sides of the floor. My dad wakes up around 3 a.m. and can automatically tell something's not right. He calls out in the darkness, "Dad." No response. He turns on the bedside light. "Dad," he says, a little louder this time. Still no response. Getting worried, he slides out of bed and shakes his father. He doesn't wake up. My dad ran down the hotel hallway to my grandma's room and started banging on the door. My grandma worriedly opens the door, and my dad shouts, "Something's wrong with Dad." He leads her down the hallway. A long hallway, to the last door on the left. My grandmother reaches the door, turns to the left, and sees her husband in bed. Heart attack. She never had the dream again. In September 1982, a 12-year-old girl in Chicago passed away shortly after taking an extra-strength Tylenol. Another man passed away in the hospital the same day after taking the same medication. Two of his family members came after. During the following few weeks, more seemingly healthy individuals perished. The only thing they had in common was that they had taken extra-strength Tylenol just before they passed away. It was found that several of the extra-strength Tylenol pills had been poisoned with potassium cyanide. The latter can be lethal within 15 minutes of exposure as it interferes with the body's ability to utilize oxygen. After this information became public, Johnson & Johnson ran multiple advertisements urging consumers to bin the product. The company quickly developed a triple-sealed package that would deter tampering. The original poisonings resulted in 7 demises, while subsequent copycat acts resulted in several further fatalities. According to Times report from 1982, officials from the Food and Drug Administration speculated that the responsible person had purchased extra-strength Tylenol capsules from a retailer, added cyanide to the red half of the capsules, sealed the bottles, and then smuggled them back onto the shelves of pharmacies and supermarkets. No one has been charged or found guilty of the poisonings. The incidents prompted changes to over-the-counter drug packaging and the creation of federal anti-tampering regulations. This isn't something I heard from my kid's room, but it was something creepy heard over a baby monitor. I did at home care for a little while, and there was this one client I had a couple of years ago. The lady I assisted had dementia, and she was just at the point where the good days were fading. We had a baby monitor in her room, so we could hear when she was waking up. I'll go ahead and mention that we also had bells pinned to her sheets so that when she was trying to get up on her own fall risk, we would hear the bells jingle, It was common to hear her down in her room talking to that man, asking, "Who are you? And what is it?" to an empty room. One evening, she and I were in the living room together by ourselves, and I heard the bells start jingling on their own over the baby monitor. There was no ceiling fan, the AC heat wasn't running, and no windows were open. I always had bad feelings in her house, with things like cabinets opening and one really creepy time where it sounded like footsteps coming down the hallway, which really scared me. I'm honestly glad I will never have to go into that house again.